Are you looking to make a move to the Middle Tennessee area and you are exploring the possibility of Nolensville, Tennessee? If so, then stay tuned because in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a big overlook of Nolensville, what you need to know, both the pros, the cons, where it's located, the most prevalent type of housing in Nolensville. We are tackling all of that and more in today's video. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Martin and I am a local Nashville real estate agent and founder of the Caitlin Martin team, powered by 𝐋𝐈𝐊𝐄 Realtors, the Andrews Group. I specialize in working with savvy sellers who want to sell right and sell smart, as well as working with out-of-staters looking to relocate to the Middle Tennessee area. Now, if this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much. Please feel free to click subscribe down below so that you are notified anytime I release new video content, which is every Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time. Also, please feel free to head on over to Instagram where you can follow me at Caitlin Martin Realtor and the team Instagram at the Caitlin Martin team, where we are talking all things Nashville, moving to Nashville, real estate, and lifestyle. So in today's video, we are talking about Nolensville, Tennessee. A couple of quick facts to know about Nolensville. So Nolensville, for the most part, is considered to be in Williamson County. I say for the most part because while the majority of Nolensville does fall into Williamson County, there is a bit of a sliver of Nolensville that actually falls into Davidson County. There's actually a couple of neighborhoods that the county line splits right through it. So some of it's Davidson County, some of it's Williamson County, and that does matter when it comes to schooling because even though you may be in the same neighborhood, if you're in Davidson, you're going to be zoned for the Davidson County schools. If you're in Williamson, you're zoned for the Williamson County schools. So that is something to keep in mind. But overall, that is not the majority of Nolensville by any means. That is the exception to the rule, but most of Nolensville overall is going to fall inside of Williamson County. So let's first talk about where Nolensville is located. Okay, so let's talk about the location of Nolensville first, because I think that can help give you a really good idea of just first where in the world it is. So if you take a look here on the map, you can see Nolensville is going to be right here in the center. You can see the city lines are denoted with these red dots. So if we actually zoom out just a little bit, this is going to help give you a better visual overall in terms of where it is in relation to Nashville. So you can see Nashville up here at the top. And then you can see Interstate 65 that's going to run north and south. You know, you see it right there through Brentwood. And then you can see Interstate 24. This almost creates about kind of like a pizza slice there. And you can see that Nolensville sits right in the middle of it. So it's really in between both Interstate 24 and Interstate 65. Now, a couple other things to note about the location, just really quickly here, is that it is going to be about 30 minutes to Nashville International Airport, which you can see is going to be north of Nolensville. It's right there a little to the east of downtown Nashville. So that's going to be about 30 minutes away. You're about 30 minutes to Nashville. You're also about 25 to 30 minutes into Franklin. So you really do have this great central location to where you're about 30 minutes from all the things that you could possibly need. And then another thing to mention with Nolensville as we take a look, because again, these red dots are noting the city lines, but it does extend a little bit further here. And this 41A, that's actually Nolensville Road that runs down, but something to keep in mind just in terms of location. If you look down here where it says Arrington, in terms of things to do, you're going to be about 15 minutes from Arrington, which is where Arrington Vineyards is located. So that is just what you need to know in particular, especially when it comes to the location of Nolensville. So hopefully that gave you a better idea of just where Nolensville is located, because I know a lot of times when you may be trying to do all of the searching and research online, you can be you know, it can be hard to get your bearings in terms of where everything is, especially in relation to, say, Franklin or maybe Brentwood or even Nashville. So hopefully that piece was helpful. Now, when it comes to Nolensville, so Nolensville has actually seen this huge surge in population over the better part of the last 7-8 years. So why is that? Well, it's because Nolensville was kind of like a hidden gem. You still got the benefits of Williamson County, which is a lot of the reasons why people are drawn to places like Brentwood and Franklin. You still got that with Nolensville. However, you got it at a better price. So that is a reason why Nolensville, it was kind of like I said, this hidden gem, and then all of a sudden people realized they could get more bang for their buck while getting the benefits of Williamson County. So it has seen a massive amount of just population growth. There's been a lot of new build, new construction neighborhoods that have gone in Nolensville, and it's only continuing to grow. The population in Nolensville right now is right around 16,000, a little shy of 17,000. So if that gives you an idea, in terms of the housing, I know we've talked about it just a little bit, and we've talked about a lot of new construction happening, but about 70% of the housing in Nolensville has actually been classified as new construction. So it has really exploded in the last several years. In fact, I know I did a previous video on Nolensville, and if you want to go check that out, you can click right up here. This is going to be a little bit more in depth versus what the first video was. But if you go back and look, when we're talking about this growth that has come into Nolensville, so within about a 3-year time span, I believe it was from 2016 to 2019, home values in Nolensville actually jumped $100,000. Now, I know that we just mentioned how most of it falls into Williamson County, but there are some that fall into Davidson County. So that is something to think about when it comes to home values, right? So if you are actually looking at the same home in the same neighborhood, say it's the same floor plan, but one's in Davidson County, one's in Williamson County, the Williamson County side is going to just carry more value because, again, things like the higher rated school scores. And so it can vary just how much, but we've seen it up to about $100,000 more expensive than the exact same house that sits on the Davidson County side. So if that gives you any context, just something to keep in mind. Now, one of the benefits of Nolensville and why people like Nolensville is because, similar to Franklin, it does have its own downtown. However, this downtown is going to be far more of that rural farm country feel, whereas Franklin has more of that cute, charming Civil War type architecture. This is definitely going to be far more rural, but it is still just as charming. One of the other benefits of Nolensville is the absolute beauty of Nolensville. Nolensville, because of its location, it really sits in this area where you're amongst the rolling hills of Middle Tennessee. And so everywhere you look, you're just seeing rolling hills everywhere, and it is stunning year round, whether the trees are in full bloom with leaves or whether they're bare in the wintertime. Nolensville in particular is really beautiful, and because it's amongst the rolling hills, that does allow for more basement opportunities when it comes to housing. Most of the housing that you are going to find in Nolensville is going to be single family homes. There are a few opportunities for townhomes. However, the predominant type of housing in Nolensville is going to be single family homes. Speaking of housing, if you're curious about price point, because I know that I mentioned the reason why people started drawing to Nolensville in the first place was because of housing being more affordable. So the average home sale price in Nolensville is right around $805,000. But homes in the Nolensville area can really range anywhere between around the mid 500s to about that 1.5, 1.7 range. It really just varies. But again, kind of thinking about that average price point sitting right around $800,000. Now, let's dive into both the pros and the cons of Nolensville. So one of the biggest pros, and one of the reasons why people continue to take a look at Nolensville and look at making it home, is because Nolensville really offers that small town feel. A lot of people, they say they feel safe within Nolensville, and it also provides that solitude because of just the beautiful surroundings that you have in Nolensville. So that is one of the biggest pros as in a lot of people's opinions of why Nolensville is a great place to live and to raise a family. You also get the benefits of Williamson County without necessarily some of those really high price points. Like, yes, you can absolutely find luxury homes in Nolensville, but a lot of times your money's still going to go further in Nolensville than it does, say, maybe in Franklin or Brentwood. But yet again, you're getting the benefits of Williamson County in terms of if you are looking at schools, if public schools are important to you. If you take a look at greatschools.org, you can see that Nolensville public schools are still rated. You know, they still have those higher rated school scores that you tend to find in Williamson County. It also has statistically lower crime rates, which again is another statistic that you tend to find within Williamson County. So that is just another reason why people are really drawn to Nolensville. And then again, people really like that they feel like they have a sense of that safety and security within Nolensville. You have more solitude, you've got that small town feel while still being in relative close proximity to everything that it has to offer. And Nolensville continues to grow. So I know that in my last video about Nolensville, which was a couple of years ago, we talked about how it hasn't really fully developed, and Nolensville is still very much in development. But the great thing about Nolensville, especially since that last video, is there's more gym or workout exercise class opportunities. And Orange Theory has actually recently come to Nolensville, which is great. You continue to have more shops and restaurants built out. So again, you're starting to get more of those really lifestyle aspects to Nolensville that it didn't necessarily have before, where you'd have to drive a little bit further. And you've got grocery stores in close proximity. And one of the benefits of Nolensville is the fact that they're bringing another Publix. So that's just going to provide another great grocery store opportunity. There is one that's categorized in Nolensville, like it falls within the Nolensville city limits. However, they are adding another one that's further south in Nolensville, so it's going to provide even more convenience for the residents that live in the neighborhoods that are going to be closer to that location. And now, when I mention luxury homes, if you're interested in luxury neighborhoods that are in Nolensville, a couple of just neighborhood names in case you want to start researching. You have Annecy, Bennington, which is with one N, Telfair, Sinatra, which is a new Turnberry community that you can learn about up here. You also have Enclave at Dove Lake and Scales Farmstead. So if you're interested in luxury in Nolensville, those are a couple to check out. And I think one of the reasons why Nolensville is really considered to be more solitude, in addition to those rolling hills that I've mentioned several times, is also the fact that there's a lot of farmland in Nolensville. So yes, you have neighborhoods, but you also just have the beauty of so much farmland and open space, and maybe that won't be as plentiful as Nolensville continues to grow. But if you're just kind of looking at Nolensville in general and trying to just get a feel, whereas like other parts of town can feel, you know, like Brentwood and even Franklin can feel like it's just neighborhood upon neighborhood, although there are still farmlands and open space in those areas, especially as you go further south in Franklin and certain spots in Brentwood. But in Nolensville, because even though it has grown in development, it's still not overgrown. So you still have a lot of the beauty of that farmland amongst the rolling hills. And I think that's part of why people really classify it as really having more of that feel of just solitude within that community. Now, if we talk about the pros, of course we have to talk about the cons when it comes to Nolensville. And for me, one of the biggest cons of Nolensville is that it's just going to take you a little bit longer to get to either Interstate 65 or Interstate 24. I am somebody, just this is my own personal opinion and this is my own personal preference. I am somebody that I like convenience. If I'm trying to go somewhere, I want to be able to jump on an interstate, get there, and just go. So in Nolensville, you know, kind of like we talked about the location a little bit earlier, it really sits in the middle between Interstate 65 and Interstate 24. And because of that, you know, you're not super close to either one, but you're still not by any means far. It's just not as convenient. So you're about 8 to 10 minutes from either 24 or 65. But this should have actually been in the pros, because if we're going to be talking about the location of Nolensville as a con, one of the pros that comes with Nolensville now is there's several ways to get in and out of the heart of Nolensville, which is great because one of the cons that we do have to talk about, which is next on the list, is the traffic. Because of the infrastructure in Nolensville, you really are still operating with the main road being Nolensville Road, and it's a 2-lane road. So around school time, around rush hour times, that does get jammed up. So that can be kind of frustrating, but the good news is to kind of combat that, there are multiple back ways around, so you're not necessarily just stuck. So once you learn the back ways, it does help you to be able to better navigate when it does get jammed up with that traffic. But overall, those are really, for the most part, just the two biggest cons when it comes to Nolensville. But again, they're continuing to build, and I would imagine they are going to be having to address traffic at some point. But like I said, you do have multiple back ways, especially if you're trying to get to say Brentwood or Franklin, or even get over to say like Smyrna. You have this great location to where you have multiple ways of getting there, so you're not stuck to just one. But I guess if I had to add one more con to it, is you are definitely going to be further away from a Target. So in terms of proximity, a Target, there's not one in super close proximity. You're looking to be about 15 to 20 minutes away from any Target, but that's kind of a smaller item in terms of everything. But overall, there's still a lot to like about Nolensville. Of course, it has some cons, but in any place you go, not a single place that you're going to consider is going to be 100% this is the best. There's no cons. There's always give and take. It's just a matter of what are you willing to give up versus what is it that are your must-haves that you're really looking for. So I really hope this video was helpful in terms of giving you more in-depth information about Nolensville. If you are thinking about making a move to Nolensville or the Middle Tennessee area, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to assist you. If you are ready to start that conversation and see if we are a great fit, you can go ahead and click the link below where you can go ahead and book a discovery call with me, and we can start chatting about what it is that you're looking for. But if you're not quite ready for that just yet, that is okay too. I do have a free Nashville relocation guide down below that is chock full of all the information, from economic things to different parks and recreation, basically all the information that you could want. We've got it in that guide. So it's down below. Just click the link that says Nashville Relocation Guide and you will be able to download it. And again, if you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Again, my name is Caitlin Martin. I'll see you next time.